I'm the wife of the oldest son, but that doesn't mean I want to get close to you, Nicole. I want to keep my distance. These were the words of my brother's wife when they had just gotten married. The three of us, my mother, my sister-in-law, and I, were having tea together. While I understand the importance of maintaining distance, I was shocked by her boldness in saying that to us so directly. The reason we were having tea was that my mother wanted to get along better with Amanda, but it seemed like Amanda didn't realize this, and I felt disappointed by her reaction. When we got home, I reflected on what happened. My mother smiled, but it was a lonely smile. She said Amanda was probably still feeling tense. My name is Nicole. I'm 33 years old and work in an office. I've been living with my mother in our family home since my father passed away from illness 10 years ago. Both of my brothers have their own families, but I have no plans to marry yet. It's not that I don't want to, but I enjoy my job and am happy with my current life. One evening, my phone rang. It was my sister-in-law, Amanda, calling. She had just given birth to her first child. It was unusual for her to call me, so I was curious. When I answered, she said, "It's been a while, Nicole. I just had the baby, but you haven't contacted me." Normally, I would expect my sister-in-law to thank me for congratulating her on the baby, but instead, she started the conversation in such a blunt way. She is the same age as me and has been married to my brother for 7 years. He adores her, but I've never liked her. She often makes sarcastic comments and talks in a nagging way, though she doesn't act like this with my brother. "Hello, Amanda. It's been a while. I should have reached out sooner. Sorry about that. And congratulations on the baby," I said. I had been busy with work and thought she would be busy too after giving birth, so I hadn't contacted her, but now I realized I was wrong. I decided not to mention that I had once apologized to her before, and she responded rudely, saying, "Are you trying to brag about how busy you are? I only work part-time, so you don't need to show off." Of course, I wasn't trying to brag. I was just apologizing sincerely. She just snorted. "Well, whatever," she said. "You should come visit the baby soon. She's a cute little girl." I could tell that Amanda's real intention was for me to give a nice baby shower gift. I felt disheartened by her words. Although the baby is my adorable niece and her birth is something to celebrate, I couldn't help but wonder why Amanda had to make such unnecessary comments. I just wished she would let me congratulate her when I was ready and with genuine feelings. "Alright, I'll come visit with my mom on a day that works for you," I said. "Oh, please don't bring your mom. I'm not good with her. I already introduced her to the baby when we left the hospital, and we even got congratulatory money from her," Amanda replied. I was irritated by her words. It felt like she was saying the only reason to meet my mom was to give a gift, and the way she talked about my mom, her mother-in-law, was hurtful. "Okay, I understand," I said. "Please let me know a convenient day. And sorry, but I need to go now. I'm taking my dinner break." Amanda's rude comments weren't anything new, but I didn't want to feel more uncomfortable, so I just replied casually and ended the call. I felt uneasy about everything. When I came downstairs, my mom, who was preparing dinner, saw my scowl and tilted her head. I thanked her for the meal and told her about the conversation with Amanda. I was upset and needed to vent. "Well, that's too bad, but there will be plenty of chances to see the baby," my mom said calmly, as if she wasn't bothered by Amanda's words. "It's been a long time since she married your brother, and her attitude is just too much," I said. "Your anger on my behalf makes me happy. By the way, I couldn't give it to you the other day because I wasn't ready, but could you take this with you as well?" my mom added, still wanting to give an extra gift, despite hearing my complaints. I smiled bitterly at the wrapped present. "Mom, you're really too kind." "Alright, I'll make sure to take it. It's for the baby, after all," I said. My mom nodded with a smile. There's a lot to think about when it comes to my sister-in-law, but it's for my adorable niece. I decided to think of it that way. On the day I went to Amanda's house, I ran into my younger brother's wife, Emily, on the way. Like me, Emily was also invited to Amanda's house. Emily married my brother 4 years ago, quickly became pregnant, and had a baby. Now, she's expecting her second child. It might sound rude to compare, but unlike Amanda, Emily is cheerful, honest, and gets along well with both my mom and me. When we arrived at Amanda's house, she greeted us in a surprisingly good mood. She led us into the living room, where the baby was sleeping in a crib. The sight of the innocent, sleeping baby made me feel calm and happy. We laughed quietly, not wanting to wake the baby, and sat down on the sofa. After Emily gave her gift, I handed over mine. I brought some blankets, toys, and a baby outfit that my mom made, I said. Amanda unwrapped the clothes my mother had made, and after looking at them, she sighed heavily. Handmade? That's worse than trash, she said. Why does she give us such a cheap gift? The other things aren't great either. I'm so disappointed. She carelessly threw the handmade clothes on the floor. My other sister-in-law quickly picked them up. That's so terrible. Our mother-in-law took so much time making these and wrapped them so neatly. If you don't want them, I'd be happy to take them, Emily said. Amanda just laughed dismissively at Emily's words. Really? She replied. If you want them that badly, go ahead, Amanda said, her tone clearly condescending. If you think they're worth keeping, please do. I'm sure my mother would be happy too, I responded. At my words, my other sister-in-law's face lit up. I'm so happy. These are like high-end brand clothes. When the baby is born, I'll dress them in these. I can't wait. Her innocent joy was somehow comforting. If my mother were here, she would probably say the same thing. Wait, what do you mean by high-end brand? Amanda asked, looking confused. After the three of us siblings became independent, my mother started selling her handmade crafts online. She used her skills in sewing and other hobbies, and over time, her work became a high-end handmade brand due to the quality of materials and design. The fact that they were handmade made them rare and valuable. She had even received collaboration offers from luxury brands. Amanda had never shown interest in me or my mother and kept her interactions to a minimum, so she didn't know about any of this. My brother should have known, but maybe he didn't think it was important to mention. After I explained, Amanda looked surprised. I never heard about that. Wait, that changes things. Give it back. She tried to grab the clothes back from my other sister-in-law, but I quickly stepped in between them and stopped her. What would you do if something happened to Emily or her unborn baby? I asked sharply. My words seemed to strike a nerve with Amanda. Her face turned red, and she started venting her emotions like steam from a kettle. No one would think clothes made by my mother-in-law as a hobby would be high-end. It's like a trick. You sly woman, she yelled. Nicole gets to do what she loves, even though we're the same age. It's not fair, she continued. Emily had a baby right away and is already expecting her second. It's so sneaky. Show some consideration and hold back a little. In short, that was her rant. Most of it had nothing to do with the current situation, and it seemed like the majority of it was jealousy towards me and Emily. I finally understood why she was always so harsh towards my family members, except my brother. After getting married, Amanda quit the job she loved and switched to part-time work so she could focus on housework and trying to have a baby. During this time, she may have felt resentment towards me for being able to work and towards my other sister-in-law for getting pregnant so quickly, but that's a separate issue. However, just because she's feeling this way doesn't mean she can say whatever she wants or ruin someone's heartfelt gift, whether it's high-end or not. Amanda's emotions exploded, and she started crying loudly, which made the baby cry as well. Emily, who was worried about the baby, tried to approach, but Amanda yelled at her, telling her to stay away from her child. Both Emily and I didn't know what to do. Then my brother came home from work. Seeing his wife and baby crying in this strange situation, his face showed he was confused. What happened? He asked. I explained what had been going on while my brother picked up the crying baby to try and calm it. He apologized to both Emily and me. I'm sorry, Amanda might be a bit neurotic because it's her first time parenting. Emily, I'm sorry to trouble you when you're pregnant. Are you feeling okay? His concern for Emily seemed to upset Amanda even more. She yelled at him, "Don't flirt with someone else's husband while you're pregnant." My brother scolded her, saying, "Stop it," but Amanda just whimpered and started crying again. I'll handle this. You two don't worry, you can go home. I'm sorry things turned out like this, even though Amanda invited you over, my brother said apologetically. As we left their house, I felt bad for Amanda. Outside, the sun was starting to set, and it was getting dark. I wondered if Amanda would be okay. I understood how she felt since I had been tense during my first pregnancy, and it was mentally tough. Despite being verbally abused, I still worried about Amanda. My mom and Emily are such kind-hearted people, and at least it didn't seem like Emily was hurt by Amanda's harsh words, which made me feel a bit relieved. Don't worry, my brother's there, so everything will be fine, I said, trying to cheer Emily up. A smile finally returned to her face. A few hours later, after dinner, I went back to my room and checked my phone. I saw multiple missed calls from Amanda. Yikes, I thought. I had a bad feeling about it. Hesitating for a moment, my phone vibrated again, and her name appeared on the screen. I wanted to turn off my phone, but knowing I had to deal with it, I answered the call. "Why didn't you answer sooner?" Amanda said, sounding clearly irritated. "I was having dinner," I replied. "What is my brother doing?" she asked. "He's in the bath now." I could tell she expected my brother to stop me from answering her calls. I could understand why she'd think that. My brother takes long baths, so Amanda probably wanted to complain about something while he wasn't around. Even though I had an idea of what was going on, I asked her, "So, what can I do for you?" "Send another set of baby clothes," she said. I couldn't help but blurt out, "What? Are homemade clothes worse than trash?" "Stop nagging," she replied. "It's a high-end brand, right? I want to brag about it on SMS. Ask your mother to make another one." I sighed, tired of her ridiculous request. It was even more absurd than usual. I wasn't expecting her to apologize, but this was too much. As I struggled to find the right words, she became even more aggressive. "What's with the sigh? Emily says she's already gotten hers, and everyone else has theirs too." From her words, I could tell she had called my other sister-in-law before me. She probably claimed the clothes as her own and tried to take them, not realizing how ridiculous she sounded. I couldn't help but burst out laughing. "Laughter, shame on you, Amanda, throwing my mother's heartfelt gift on the floor, calling it worse than trash, and then changing your attitude when you find out it's a high-end brand. Aren't you embarrassed as an adult? If you really want it, apologize to my mother and ask her yourself." I had never been harsh with Amanda before. I always tried to be considerate of my mother and brother, but I had reached my limit. My mother knew the whole story about giving the baby clothes to Emily, and I didn't like that Amanda thought she could just ask for them. She should bow her head and ask for it herself once in a while. "So, you're saying all those mean things because it's about my child?" she asked, her voice shaking. "It has nothing to do with that," I replied, but she fell silent, and I could hear her sobbing on the other end of the line. She seemed to be very sensitive when it came to being criticized. "Everyone is so cold. I finally gave birth to a baby, and nobody's pampering me. I'm blocked by Emily, ridiculed by you, and my husband won't even take my side. In the end, only David is on my side." Her mentioning an unfamiliar name made me question what I had just heard. I was shocked to hear that even gentle Emily had blocked her, but she must have said something terrible to her on the phone. "Wait, who's David?" I asked. At my question, she gasped, realizing she had let something slip. She seemed to panic. As I waited for her to speak, I heard my brother's voice asking, "What's going on?" He must have just gotten out of the bath. Amanda was startled and stammered, "No, no, no, that's not David. He's just an online friend. You're misunderstanding things." I didn't know what the misunderstanding was, but Amanda was desperately trying to make excuses. Suddenly, I heard my brother's voice as he took the phone from her. "You're talking to Nicole." "Sorry, Nicole, but I need to talk to her for a moment." His voice was lower and angrier than usual. I agreed and hung up. It seemed like things were about to get worse. Later, my brother came to our house to tell us he was getting a divorce. First, he apologized for his wife's treatment of our mother's handmade clothes, which she had called trash. Amanda had always looked down on Emily, my mother, and me, so it was ironic that she felt belittled by a handmade gift. After the phone call, my brother confronted Amanda about the mysterious David. Since my brother had been busy with work, she had met David online and eventually cheated with him in person. Amanda confessed everything. She tried to justify it as a mistake due to loneliness, but that excuse didn't hold up. I knew my brother had been trying to balance work and family life, and it broke my heart to think about his feelings. Even my usually calm mother showed anger toward Amanda. They decided to do a DNA test on the baby, just in case. I never imagined that a simple visit to deliver a baby gift would lead to all of this. In the end, the DNA test proved that the baby wasn't my brother's. He received a large amount of compensation from Amanda and her lover, and the divorce was finalized. Amanda was also dumped by her lover and would likely have to work day and night to support herself. At least the baby would be raised by her sensible grandparents, not Amanda. 3 years have passed. My mother's handmade clothes and accessories are still loved by many. Emily and I are, of course, longtime fans. I got married last year and am now pregnant. My mother is already excitedly planning the baby's clothes. My brother, deeply hurt by what happened with his wife, has recently found a new girlfriend. I sincerely hope that he will find true happiness this time. Later, my brother came to our house to tell us he was getting a divorce. First, he apologized for his wife's treatment of our mother's handmade clothes, which she had called trash. Amanda had always looked down on Emily, my mother, and me, so it was ironic that she felt belittled by a handmade gift. After the phone call, my brother confronted Amanda about the mysterious David. Since my brother had been busy with work, she had met David online and eventually cheated with him in person. Amanda confessed everything. She tried to justify it as a mistake due to loneliness, but that excuse didn't hold up. I knew my brother had been trying to balance work and family life, and it broke my heart to think about his feelings. Even my usually calm mother showed anger toward Amanda. They decided to do a DNA test on the baby, just in case. I never imagined that a simple visit to deliver a baby gift would lead to all of this. In the end, the DNA test proved that the baby wasn't my brother's. He received a large amount of compensation from Amanda and her lover, and the divorce was finalized. Amanda was also dumped by her lover and would likely have to work day and night to support herself. At least the baby would be raised by her sensible grandparents, not Amanda. 3 years have passed. My mother's handmade clothes and accessories are still loved by many. Emily and I are, of course, longtime fans. I got married last year and am now pregnant. My mother is already excitedly planning the baby's clothes. My brother, deeply hurt by what happened with his wife, has recently found a new girlfriend. I sincerely hope that he will find true happiness this time.